you know.
Yes.
It's great. You know, there's really no telling what I might have done or become. You know, I just, you know, I try not to dwell on it, you know. And one of the crew, when I was doing my interview, told me, he said, you know, I was 34 with a family, and I went back to university, and I now have a PhD. He said, it's never too late.
Amen.
So,
and you know what, I was just getting ready to tell him, God is the God of the impossible, right? All things are possible with God. So we're just going to be believing and praying for you that God is going to, I know He's got a purpose for your life. He's got a plan for your life, and you're beginning to walk in that. We'll just believe that God is going to bring about some wonderful things in your life. So thank you. Please stay tuned. When we return, we're going to be talking with Cheri Peters again about how families can educate themselves and reach out to at-risk loved ones. So don't go away.
Next week on Up Close.
We're going to be talking with Dr. Neil Medley about some of the common symptoms and the causes of depression.
And I really hate to say this, but in all honesty, it took every ounce of energy I had to even take a shower. I would be in bed for 5 days at a time. It was just the most debilitating thing I've ever gone through in my life. And I would just lay there.
Next week on Up Close, dealing with depression. So don't miss it.
Welcome back to Up Close. We're talking to Cheri Peters, a former drug addict who was literally a miracle from the streets. Cheri, if you would, you mentioned to me earlier when we were just talking by ourselves a story about Lance Michaels. Could you share just a little bit about that?
That to me was one of the saddest things. Lance Michael was a incredible kid, was very good in school. His family loved him. Parents were very normal and very involved in their life. And Lance gets strung out on methamphetamine in the 9th grade and was dead by the time he was 22 years old. But I got to tell you, in that process, he found out after he started experimenting with drugs, he found out that his heart was blown up and swollen up, and the doctor said, you even need a heart transplant. His mom totally panicked, lost, you know, just could you imagine as a mom hearing that, was taking her.
Was it the drugs that caused this?
The drugs accelerated, and I've got to tell you, accelerated a natural condition in this family that the men typically die when they're 70, 80 years old. This kid's dying at 18 years old. And because but it was a predisposition in this family for this type of heart disease, but the methamphetamine just sped that up. So he's in the hospital, he's on IVs, he's waiting for a heart transplant, and he pulls the IVs from his arm and goes and gets high. And his mom said, she would cry to somebody, I don't understand addiction. I don't understand what this is. Somebody should have taught me, because I don't even know how to reach him. I don't know how to tell him to stop. And he finally says, when he turns 21, he finally says, I cannot accept a heart, because if I did this to someone else's heart, that what I've done to my own heart, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Takes himself off the heart transplant list and dies within 3 months. And this is a family that was in love with him. Like, Ivan, your family, you said, was pretty normal when you were growing up and all those kind of things. And so the addiction just took this kid's life. The mom said at one point, she thought, you know what, he just needs to do something. He just needs to be involved in something. So she wanted to make a hobby for him. And so she said, Lance, what would you like to learn or do? And he said, I'd like to do glass blowing. And for any addicts in the audience, why do you think he wanted to glass blow? Do you have any idea? He wanted to make his own pipes. And his mom didn't know that because she's not educated. So she sent him to school to learn how to blow glass, and he made the cutest little pipes to smoke crack in. And his mom even found a pipe, a little bear in the trash can with a long tail. And she said, Lance, why did you throw this away? It is so cute. And she didn't even know. She